great philosophers say our sound creates our reality.
Hmm.
So we are gods in our own right of creating our own reality, just like Big G God created our reality of his words.
Yeah.
I think that really kind of, as above, so below.
It just extrapolates, and like we were talking about the fractals,
Back to the fractals.
how like each node, how fractals work is like you have like a node, and then it kind of like branches out from there in some, you know, algorithmic way or some logarithmic way or something mathematically, and it comes back into another node, and then it all somehow just like reaches back together. But the interesting thing is one of those nodes is like every human. Every human is a node, and everything is a node, and every little physical thing is a node.
Mm-hmm.
But in between where they split off, they're splitting off from different sensate frequencies. Our sight, this and that, the other, and they all come together to a definition of a human. They all come together at the definition of a chair. They all come together to the definition of water.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, everything
Consists of. That every essence of existence that can possibly be extrapolated from the human body or the human experience can be given to a chair, okay? Because it has an experience too, whether it can store that information or not. It does have a perspective.
Yeah.
Does have.
It might not be a conscious perspective,
Yeah.
but it technically would have to have a perspective to even exist.
Well, it's to exist in in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, otherwise, because in 2D in Flatland, you don't need perspective because you can't ever have it. You look one way and you look the other way. All you see is a line going completely vertical, because if anything else exists, that's all you're gonna see is its side, because you can never see things in its two-dimensional. If it turns sideways, you've got yourself 3 dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, so
2D is linear.
the idea is that we're not really here. We don't really exist. You know, we're just kind of this whole computer simulation, if you will, like the Matrix or something.
Yeah.
So, how I like to think about it is, it's basically all the physicality are just parameters that are stored in like a memory bank.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just having the memory there, it can run the program which reaches back into the storage to get pieces of data. What do you think?
Yeah, I look at it the same way, kind of like our physical reality is like this matrix, and we are kind of like our spiritual self
Mm-hmm.
would be like in control of this physical body, but our physical body doesn't really perceive that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then, you know, I do think we are all connected and we all create our own little portion of reality, but our collective consciousness is what creates the whole thing.
That's interesting because it like even further extends reality, because I mean, think about how, you know, how the specificity of everything.
Yeah.
You know, we have our tastes, our likes, our dislikes, our human body preferences
Mm-hmm.
that we have no control over. It's like the cravings we get. We were talking about in the mind what a craving is, but just the body telling you, hey, I need this nutrient.
Yeah. It's really like a triggered response
Mm-hmm.
to stimulus, to external stimulus.
But isn't that described? That's also described. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we can actually become mindful and like catch ourselves in these triggers and reprogram our own brain. Have you ever studied neuroplasticity? It's like basically you can rewire your brain to think and act however you want.
Oh yeah. hearing.
All the physical senses.
Right. And those make up our physical
reality.
Yeah. Like
It's technically, arguably not real. You know, it's been proved we don't actually touch
Right.
anything because we're made out of atoms, and there's empty space and electrons around the atoms. We don't actually technically touch anything, but it triggers our senses and tells our brain we're touching this. And this is hot. Is the reason that our universe contains a physical reality so that we can come here in order to feel different things? If we are the soul inside of the body itself, is that why we choose to incarnate here as humans? In order to feel with these physical senses? Our human bodies are not eternal, and we know that we could die any given day. Does that make each moment here as a human more meaningful? Are we here to learn from this physical reality and from all of these different emotions and experiences? Does that mean we should cherish the importance of every moment here and use every moment to create the best reality that we can for ourselves and others? I believe the answer is yes to all of those questions. The only thing in our reality that is actually real is the present moment. The past is a memory and the future is just a speculation. Staying in the present moment and staying mindful are very important. Even when things are uncomfortable for us, we have to keep in mind that these things will pass and that they happen for us to learn.
Their objective is always not ideas, not doctrines, but a method for the transformation of consciousness. That is to say, for a transformation of your sensation of who you are. And I emphasize the word sensation because it's the strongest word we have for feeling directly. When you put your hand on the corner of a table, you have a very definite feeling. And when you are aware of existing, you also have a definite feeling. But in the view of these methods or disciplines, the ordinary person's definite feeling of the way he exists and who he is a hallucination. To feel yourself as a separate ego, a source of action and awareness that is entirely separate and independent from the rest of the world, somehow locked up inside a bag of skin, is seen as a hallucination. That you are not a stranger in the earth, that comes into this world either as a result of a natural fluke or being a sort of spirit that comes from somewhere else altogether. But that you, in your fundamental existence, you are the total energy that constitutes this universe.